Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be discussing, is it possible to become rich off cryptocurrency in 2022 with all that is going on? You may notice I'm in a different setting to usual as well, and this will be the setup for the next couple of videos, but then we'll be back to normal in our regular setup. And just before we get into it, a quick shout out to all of you who have recently subscribed to the channel and all of the people who have been here from the start, as we just reached the 5,000 subscriber mark, so really do appreciate everyone who's been supporting the channel. So it hasn't been an ideal start to the year when it comes to cryptocurrency, and that's pretty much been the same for stocks as well. We can see that Bitcoin since the start of the year is down around 19 or 20%, and with the S&P 500 just as an example, that's down around 13 or 14% already. A lot of people want to invest in cryptocurrency opposed to just the stock market in order to diversify a bit, and as well as that they think it's a bit of a hedge against some of the stocks, because the idea was that Bitcoin was decentralized and essentially separate from the stock market, so when the stocks were doing badly, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a whole would hold steady, or if not be doing the opposite of what the stock market is doing. But up until now, it doesn't really seem that that's the case, with Bitcoin, for example, and the S&P 500 generally acting the same right now. When one is down, the other one is down, maybe not by as much, or one's down more than the other, but generally they're heading in the same direction. And that's really something that a lot of investors didn't expect to see in terms of cryptocurrency and the stock market. They thought there would be a bit of a divergence between how they act. And I do think this will be true at some stage in the future, where they'll be acting independently of each other. When one is down, the other one may be up, for example. Not pretty much guaranteed that if one is down, the other is down. But for now, a lot of people that invest in stocks also invest in cryptocurrency, and if they're fearful of one going down, they're pretty much fearful the other will go down as well. And that's one but not the only factor, of course, that is giving these a bit of a correlation in that sense. So yeah, I just wanted to give a bit of a context to how cryptocurrency as a whole is doing. Basically, you can just look at Bitcoin and you'll get a general idea of how the cryptocurrency market is going. Most cryptocurrencies tend to follow what Bitcoin does, and by that I mean if Bitcoin is up, for example, a lot of other cryptocurrency projects will be up as well. But for example, if Bitcoin is up 5%, that's not to mean they'll also be up by 5%. As all of them do have lower market caps than Bitcoin, you'll often see maybe a 15 or 20% rise in some of the smaller cap coins when Bitcoin is up 5%. But I just generally mean when Bitcoin is on the up, a lot of other cryptocurrency projects are also on the up. So as I said, in this video we're going to be talking about, can you get rich off cryptocurrency in 2022? Because a lot of people are wondering if it is a good investment right now, or are they better off to just wait until we're in a confirmed next bull run. And just before we get into this, just do keep in mind that this is for entertainment purposes only. Don't take any of this as financial advice, as I'm not a financial advisor, and make sure you do all your own research when it comes to any kind of investment. So let's start off with Bitcoin, of course, and we'll just take a look at, can you get rich off Bitcoin in 2022? Let's run some numbers. So Bitcoin currently stands between 38 and 39,000 US dollars and has a market cap of 728 billion. So let's say, for example, this year in 2022, Bitcoin manages to reach its previous all-time high, which was around $66,000 around April last year. So in order to get from $39,000 back up to $66,000, that would be around a 73% gain from these current prices. So take a look at your portfolio and say, if my position in Bitcoin went up by 73% right now, would I be rich? And while 73% is of course a massive gain, especially in the space of a year, that wouldn't necessarily have made you rich, I guess, unless you had quite a big portfolio, and I assume most of us watching here have quite modest portfolios. Even if we take a more extreme example where we may see Bitcoin reaching $100,000 in 2022, that would be just over 150% increase from here, or 1.5 times your money. So then again, ask yourself the question, if my current position in Bitcoin were to 1.5x this year, would I be rich off it? Is that enough to make me rich? And of course, rich can mean a lot of different things. I mean, if your position in Bitcoin is 100,000 and it were to 1.5x over the course of a year, you'd be sitting pretty happy there. But for example, if you had $500 or even $1,000 in Bitcoin and that were to 1.5x, of course you'd still be happy, but you haven't exactly made yourself rich. So to summarize on Bitcoin, if we even take an extreme example of the possibility of it hitting $100,000 this year, that is just a 1.5x from the current prices right now. And even at that, a lot of people did buy around that $60,000 mark or even $55,000, so not even all of that would be profit, it would just be recuperating some of your gains. And then of course some profit on top of that, but just not all profit. But if you were to buy in at this current price of 39,000 and we did manage to see that higher estimate of 100,000, that would be a 1.5x. So is that enough to make you rich? That's up to you. Then if we take a look at Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency, we can see it's currently sitting at $2,800 and its previous all-time high last year around the same time as Bitcoin was $4,700. And in order to see that price again, we would need a 68% increase on the current price. And if we were to say even beyond that, if we were to get to $6,000, that would be a 114% increase from there. So again, take a look at these numbers and think, if I did reach these higher estimates, would that be enough to get me rich? And as I said, if you have a modest portfolio, this likely won't be enough to make you rich of cryptocurrency this year. Now, of course, it's very important, and it's something that I always preach, is long-term investing here. So I'm only doing this video for fun. I don't intend myself to get rich off cryptocurrency this year. Maybe down the line after 5 or 6 years, it may work out very well. But I just want to explore this video with a bit of a realistic lens to give people an idea of if it's possible to get rich off cryptocurrency this year. So I think from them numbers we've established, if you have a modest portfolio and you're investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum, you're probably not going to get rich this year. Maybe you could double your money, which would be absolutely amazing, but the chances are you're not going to 10 or 15x your money if you have it in Bitcoin and Ethereum this year. But personally, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum will do very well over the long term, and they actually do make up the largest percentage of my portfolio, pretty much all of my portfolio at the minute, as I've taken the opportunity to consolidate down over this kind of uncertain period into Bitcoin and Ethereum, as I always consider them one of the safest options in cryptocurrency. But as I always say, there's nothing really safe in cryptocurrency, but as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum go, they would be on the safer end of it. So if we have a modest portfolio and it doesn't look like we can get too rich off Bitcoin and Ethereum, are there any other ways that we could possibly get rich off cryptocurrency in 2022? Now, some people may comment and talk about the staking platforms that you can use, and some of them do offer a really good APY and some of them are quite reputable, but at the same time it's unregulated, so you are taking a risk there, locking up your money in order to get that APY. And there's a lot of them that just don't work out when you have to transfer your money to these. Invictus coin was one, for example, where I even put a small amount of money in, I think $300 or $400 to test it out, and while you were earning this APY on your money, the price of the token was just constantly going down, so it just worked out that you lost money in the end. So a lot of these are a bit sketchy, and while you do see these big interest rates, these big APY yields, generally the saying of if it sounds too good to be true, it often is. So these aren't something that I would be looking to put my money into right now. I do stake around 1,500 DFI token, and I stake that on Cake DeFi, which as far as I'm concerned is one of the more reputable ones, and that gets me around a 50 to 60% APY at the minute, but it does fluctuate. But any of these ones where you're seeing 1,000% APY, it's often too good to be true, so I'd be very careful when it comes to them kind of investments. So aside from the two biggest market cap cryptocurrencies, aside from them crazy percentage APY yields, is there any other way that we could potentially get rich off cryptocurrency in 2022? And for this, we could of course get lucky on some smaller market cap coins. So for example, if you come to coinmarketcap.com, the first page is always on the top 100 cryptocurrencies, and you can filter on market cap. And for example, you can see that the 100 biggest cryptocurrency with the smallest market cap, if that makes sense, so the smallest market cap within the top 100 cryptocurrencies is currently Anchor, and you can see that has a market cap of 588 million right now. So there's a much greater chance of Anchor 10xing just based on the market cap, because it would need a lot less money invested in it in order to 10x compared to something like Bitcoin, which already has such a massive market cap. And for that to 10x, I think it will happen over time, but it would take a lot of money being pumped into it. But then you also have to weigh up, are people more likely to invest in Anchor, or are they more likely to invest in Bitcoin? So of course, if we look at it at a surface level, smaller market cap means potential for bigger gains, but at the same time, does it have the community, does it have the traction, does it have the use cases in order to attract that extra investment and in order to grow your position in it? So it's probably a good idea to strike somewhere in the middle, and three coins that I've covered before, for example, that are pretty beat down right now, down around 20% over the last 7 days or so, and that's, for example, Solana is one that I think will do well in the long term. We also have Avalanche here as well, and then we also have Decentraland as well. I think they are three good cryptocurrency projects and ones that I will be definitely getting back into in the future, but as of now I do not hold these cryptocurrencies. But yeah, essentially the way you can do that or find cryptocurrencies similar to these is, as I said, go on to coinmarketcap.com. For example, you can filter on the 7-day percentage change and find the ones that have been affected the most. And from there, you can scroll through, maybe research some of the projects here. You may see some that you're familiar with. Cardano, for example, down 17% in the last 7 days. So you can use that as a way to find some that have been kind of beat down over the last 7 days, and they may be a good opportunity for you to establish some positions in. And as I said, if you can find a good mix of a solid project, small market cap with the potential to grow, that is essentially where you can make a lot of money. But of course, as I mentioned before, Bitcoin and Ethereum I would consider some of the safest cryptocurrencies. But when you start to get into some of these other projects, they do come with more risk in terms of they have smaller communities there, and there's no guarantees that they'll stick around for the long term. So it is of course that added bit of risk, but you could potentially get a bigger reward. And then we'll just quickly touch on meme coins and NFTs, because I think a lot of NFTs can be grouped into that kind of meme coin bracket, because a lot of them just simply have no use cases and a lot of them look pretty bad, to be quite honest. Of course, there's great projects out there, but a lot of them are quite scammy. So is there a chance that you could make a lot of money in some NFTs and in meme coins? And I personally think no. Of course, it's easy enough to buy an NFT for $100 or $200, and potentially the floor price could raise to maybe $500 or $600, and you've made a good profit there, but you still have to sell your NFT at the end of the day. You need someone to come in behind and take it off your hands for that specific price, and especially if you're trading on the Ethereum network, that's going to be quite a lot in gas fees that will cut into your profits there. So for me, NFTs, I'll be staying away from them for this year especially. The only NFT platform that I see right now that I would maybe possibly get invested in is the VV platform, but I still need to do some more research into that, and even at that I'm still not sure if it is a good investment, because I believe as of right now you can't actually take your money out of the platform. So for me, NFTs, I'll be staying away from them this year. Of course, some people can make money, and you see all these TikToks of people making a lot of money flipping NFTs, but it's definitely harder than it looks. Take that from me. I did buy an NFT previously, and it's now pretty much worthless. I just clicked up there. There's a link where you can check out that video. But yeah, it was a mistake that I made because I wanted to learn how the NFT process worked, but that really didn't work out for me, and I ended up losing some money on that. I still have the NFT, but no one's there to buy it, so essentially I didn't make any money on it. And when it comes to meme coins, similar to NFTs, I'll be staying away from these. They were really a big thing in 2021. A lot of people made a lot of money on them. A lot of people also lost a lot of money on them. And this year, I just don't think they'll get as much traction, especially with all that's going on in the world. I think people will be looking for more safe investments, and meme coins are quite the opposite of safe investments. So for me, that's definitely something I'll be staying away from. I just don't think they'll have as much support as they did last year. So yeah, that's going to cover it for this video. I think the general synopsis is there's potentially good gains to be made in cryptocurrency this year, but I don't think it's the landscape to make yourself absolutely rich unless you have a big portfolio already. But as I did mention towards the start of the video, my investment game is long term. Even over the next 3 to 5 years, I do think it's possible to be rich in cryptocurrency, but what's required there is consistency and finding good projects to invest your money into. So yeah, to summarize, I don't think it's too possible if you have a modest portfolio to become rich in cryptocurrency, but you could make some good profits. But anyways, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments section down below. And if you did enjoy this video, if you could take a second to drop a like on it and also subscribe to the channel as well, that would be absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in another video.